joined in studio by Eunice Apiakoran. She's a clinical audiologist. Big post. Welcome, madam. How are you doing? Good morning.
Good morning. I'm good. How are you doing too?
I'm alive. I'm greater than Accra. Who is a clinical audiologist?
Okay, so a clinical audiologist is an allied healthcare professional who is licensed and trained to assess, identify, and manage hearing loss, balance, and other issues relating to hearing.
Okay. Identify, manage, and ear loss and balance. And, wow, that's a lot of work.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
So what does it look like, a day in the life of a clinical audiologist?
Okay, so basically in the day of an audiologist, when you get to work, you just need to prepare yourself for a day of seeing people with different types and degrees of hearing loss from all age groups. We assess from babies all the way up to old age. Yeah, so a typical day will start with, let's say you have a child that is not able to speak. The parents bring them in, and then you need to do an assessment to make sure that the child's hearing is normal before anything else can be done for the child. So we do that assessment, and then if everything is normal, we then send that child over to the speech therapist for further management. I see. Yes, if it's an adult, sometimes we get referrals from the ENT clinics. Those who have ear infections, we help to diagnose the middle ear infections, yes. So when we do our test and then we identify the middle ear infection, we then send them back to the ENT for further treatments, yes. And then for those who come with hearing loss, they come with the complaints, oh, I realized that these days I can't hear well, or maybe my hearing is going down. When somebody speaks, I can't hear, or my family members are complaining that I'm always saying or repeat yourself or something, yes. So such a person comes and then you take your history, you do the test, and then when you identify the hearing loss, you just know which type of hearing loss it is, the degree of hearing loss, and then you do your rehabilitation. That will be in the form of hearing aids or a cochlear implants, depending on the type of hearing loss that you find. Interesting.
Let's start from the children. How is it that somebody is born as a normal child, it looks like everybody else, but they can't hear?
Okay, so there are lots of factors that will cause a hearing loss in a child. Okay. So we can break them into three groups. Right. We can have causes of hearing loss whilst the mother is pregnant, before the mother is pregnant, during pregnancy, and then when the child is being born. Okay. So whilst the mother is pregnant, there are some infections that the mother can have that will cause the unborn child to have a hearing loss.
Like what?
Yes, so we have an acronym that we call TORCH. We have toxoplasmosis, we have cytomegalovirus. They sound like very big things, yes. They are all viral infections. Okay. So you can get toxoplasmosis from eating meat that is not well cooked. Okay. As a pregnant woman, if you have eggs or meat or something that you need to prepare at home, you need to make sure that it's well cooked. Well cooked, okay. If you don't cook it well and then any of these viruses are on that meat and then you eat it, you could be exposing your child to being born with a hearing loss.
So that's what
toxoplasmosis.
Let's say the O is what? Then there's an O.
The O is other infections. Okay. So there are a host of other infections. And then we have syphilis. A mother that has syphilis can give birth to a child with a hearing loss. Because, yes, the syphilis can affect the child as the child is passing through the birth canal. Yes. Right. And then that will affect the child's hearing and all of those things, yes.
I see. Interesting. So then it could be just a factor from a biological part from the mother. But then children go to school, maybe somebody slaps the child in school, a teacher, whatever, whoever it is, a caregiver. Can that also affect their hearing?
Yes, that will cause what we call a conductive hearing loss. Okay, so assuming the slap, I don't know the magnitude of the slap, but it depends. If the slap is that heavy, and then you have perforation of what we call the tympanic membrane, that is what we normally call the eardrum.
Eardrum, yes. Okay.
So if the slap is that heavy, we call it trauma. Okay, so if somebody slaps you and then the trauma is that much, your eardrum could get perforated. Yes, and then that could distort the way that sound is conducted from your outer ear into your middle ear, all the way to your inner ear for you to be able to hear. Yes, so a ruptured tympanic membrane can cause some form of hearing loss.
Can hearing loss come with age, or does age come with hearing loss?
Yes, it does.
It does? Yes. How?
So as you are growing, like your body systems generally starts to deteriorate or weaken, if you can say that. Okay. So generally for old age, sometimes we have some adults that have perfectly normal hearing. Okay. But then we have some adults that also have deteriorating hearing across as they are growing. So all these things will be determined by how you take care of your hearing whilst you are a young person.
Okay.
Yes. So if you are somebody who takes care of your hearing as a young person, then you could have perfectly normal hearing as you are growing, even though it could deteriorate a bit. It will not be so advanced, or it will not have so much impact on you as somebody who has been exposed to, let's say, a lot of noise during their lifetime and then has now grown old and has that kind of hearing loss. We call that kind of hearing loss presbycusis. For old age, presbycusis.
Presbycusis.
Yes.
Presbyterians. How do you take care of your hearing while you're young so that you don't get up there to get presbycusis, right?
Okay, so today is World Hearing Day. Yes. So the theme for this year is to hear for life, listen with care. Okay. So
hear for life.
To hear for life,
listen with care.
Yes. So the whole message is to make sure that people take care of their hearing across their lifespan, so that even as they are growing, it's possible to have perfectly good hearing across your lifespan, even through old age. Okay.
Right.
And the data that WHO has right now tells us that in the near future, maybe by 2050, we can have 1 billion people between the age of 12 to 35 with a disabling hearing loss because of earpods, hearing devices, exposure to loud noise during concerts, maybe the club, sporting events, and then all of those other too loud events that we subject ourselves to.
Right. Okay. So then it means that I work maybe as a radio presenter. I like loud music in my ears, my headset blocked, so that I can hear my voice well. Will it affect me?
Yes.
To what extent?
Okay, so it all depends on the level of the noise that you are being exposed to, and then the duration of the noise the duration at which you are being exposed to the noise. Okay, so we have a chart that tells us if the noise is this loud, you should be in it for this amount of time.
Okay.
Okay, so it's just like
you use the decibels
exactly
to be able to determine how long you should stay in the noise.
So let's say at 80 dB, 80 decibels is just like the sound of, let's say, a doorbell.
Okay.
Okay. So if you're working in an environment that has 80 dB of noise, you should stay in that noise for 1 hour for 40 hours a week. Your exposure to that amount of noise should be equal to 40 hours in a week. Okay. So if you're spending more than that time, then you could be exposing yourself to develop a noise-induced hearing loss.
Then people who go to the club at greater risk, or people who like oblitiagbo, they like to be by the loudspeakers, yes. So they go to churches and mosques where people are bleating, and then they stand at greater risk.
Exactly, because let's start with the club and then all of those things.
Yes.
The speakers are so big, and then the noise is so loud. And then you are in there, let's say you go in the club somewhere from, let's say, 10 p.m. and then you stay all the way up to somewhere around, let's say, 4 a.m. or even 5 a.m. People even stay there till 6 a.m. or 7 a.m.
That's right.
And all this time is like the music is loud. And research has shown that...
That's the chilling.
Yes. As more people enter the club, as the place gets filled, then they increase the noise. Because, yes, as people get in, then the sound is like a little damping. So they need to open it up so everybody can hear the sound. Okay. So the longer you are in there, that sound can go up to like maybe 100 or 120 decibels. And that is like maybe equal to the sound of a plane taking off. Yes. So imagine you are in that kind of noise for like, let's say 8 hours. That is too much. That sound like 100 or 120 dB of a jet or a plane taking off, you should only be exposed to that noise for like maybe 1 or 2 seconds. Okay. And then you are sitting in it for like 8 hours.
1 or 2 seconds?
Yes.
Hey, madam.
Because that is impulse noise, like it's really loud, it's at once. So the impact is really, really great.
I see.
So if you're in that kind of noise, it's like we have something that we call the hair cells inside the cochlea. So those hair cells are the ones that vibrate and then transmit the sound to your brain to let you know that, oh, I heard this or I heard that. So once you are in that loud noise, your hair cells are constantly vibrating, and then you are they are being overworked. So eventually they bend over. Okay. They're supposed to be standing straight, and then they bend a little when the sound passes to just transmit
kind of a filter.
Not really a filter. It's like, how do I put it? It transmits the sound.
An antenna.
Maybe we could put it that way. Okay. So maybe your hair cell is standing like this. When the sound enters your ear, it bends a little to allow the sound to pass, and then transmits it all the way to your brain. So once the sound is so loud...
Like a valve, if you will.
Not really a valve. They are like tiny, tiny, tiny things, like hair cells.
Okay.
So they just, it's like, let's say grass.
Grass. Exactly. So when the wind blows, it bends a bit.
Exactly.
And then comes back to position.
Exactly. So once the sound is so loud and then you are in there for a very long time. It's like your grass is being bent, and then eventually some of them even like get uprooted, if you can put it that way. Okay, they get uprooted, and then let's say they are gone, and the hair cells are such a way that once they are gone, they are not regenerated. Yes.
That's dangerous.
Yes, so that is the message. Noise-induced loss is permanent. Once your hair cells are dead, they don't come back.
It means that you are deaf for life.
Oh, let's not say deaf. Deaf is, let's say, you will lose your hearing gradually.
Okay.
Yes, and then once it goes down, it will never come back up. Okay, yes.
And you put up that the statistics you put on the screen earlier, the decibels and the diagram. So this said, Eunice, take a look at it. Common noises on a decibel scale. Can you speak to it?
Yes, so that was what I was talking about before. Okay, so you see it goes from, let's say, blue all the way to green, going towards the yellow, and then as it gets louder,
right,
it becomes red. Yes. So we have a whisper, and then let's say moderate rainfall. 40, 50 dB.
Okay.
That is normal.
That's normal.
Yes.
So up to what? Green?
Yes, up to where the yellow is. Is it amber or something?
Yes,
at
yes,
70
yes,
dB?
yes.
Yes, car city traffic light.
Right.
So
that is where we are supposed to be as normal human beings.
Yes.
Okay.
So once it gets to that 80 dB or 85, we have something where we call the action. At a point, you need to take action.
Okay.
So if your sound that you are being exposed to is equal to that amount, then it means you need to take action. Either put on your hearing protection or you limit the amount of time that you spend in that amount of noise.
I see. Is it possible to have somebody exposed to excessive noise for a long period have a mental situation, stress or anything connected to that?
Let's say not a mental situation, but it is mental in a way. Because let's say you are in a place and then somebody is behind you constantly banging utensils or something. It's really annoying. At a point, let's say you get infuriated, you are angry, and then your blood pressure starts to rise. Okay, so all those are things that you can get, medical conditions that you can get from being exposed to noise that is too loud. Okay, so hypertension is one of them.
Right.
Yes. And then you get other cardiac issues. Not just hypertension, there are other issues that could follow. And then the annoyance, like you said. People don't have anger management.
Okay.
Once they are annoyed because of noise, somebody can just go and slap their neighbor. Why are you disturbing me?
So it means that, so I see a phenomenon of churches, mosques springing up in residential areas. You have drinking spots as well springing up, and they're playing music for a very long time. Are they disturbing the neighbors, and what effect could that have on the neighbors?
Yes, they are disturbing them, and I expect EPA to be able to do something about that. Ideally, EPA should go and then measure the noise levels in these kind of areas. Okay. So once they find that these people are like generating too much noise, then they should tell them to maybe make their buildings soundproof so the noise doesn't go out, or maybe cut down the noise or something. But this is Ghana. You know how it goes. Even if you come out of your house and go and tell somebody that, oh, maybe turn down your volume or something, it becomes a whole different thing altogether.
Is it your view that as a country, we are serious about some of the things you're talking about? For example, this hearing matter, staying in the noise for a very long period, the hair, the hair-like strands in the ear. Are we serious about it? In our schools, what we teach our children?
Not at all. A lot of people don't really know about all of these things. The awareness is not there. That is why we take days like this. And then even on a normal day, we still preach these kind of messages because people really do not take hearing, let's say, seriously. Because let's say hearing loss is a hidden disability. I can see you wearing glasses now, so obviously I can see that, oh, you have an eye issue or something. But if somebody is deaf or has a hearing loss and they are sitting down, there's nothing that shows that they have a hearing loss. So unless you maybe get closer to them, you speak to them and then they don't respond. Even that when somebody will say, this guy is rude, I passed by him and I greeted him, he didn't respond. Maybe he's rude or he doesn't want to speak to me or something. Maybe the person didn't even hear you. You understand? So hearing is a little bit complicated because it's not something that everybody sees. When you are coming, nothing shows that you are deaf or you can't hear. Okay. Or you have a hearing loss.
Unless you're spoken to.
Exactly. And then if maybe you go to a meeting and people are talking and you can't hear, then it's like, oh, he doesn't want to take Paxil or something. But that's not the issue. It's just because they have a hearing loss.
There's a WHO data. Then you pull that up for me, showing statistics of, the fact that hearing loss is on the rise in the world. Yeah. The world is going deaf, and everybody's watching. Then you put it up, put it on the screen for me, Oliver, and let's hear it. This is the World Hearing Report. Maybe expand it a bit so Eunice can see it and speak to the data. Yeah. So 1 in 5 people across the world. This is shocking.
Yes, it is.
Wow.
Yes. So, like I mentioned before, this is the projection that by 2050, 1 in 4 people will have a disabling hearing loss.
Why? How do we stop this?
Yes. So that is the message for the whole thing. Safe listening. Okay. So we can start safe listening even with our toddlers, all the way through our teenage children, all the way to adulthood. Okay. Some parents buy toys that are too loud for their children.
How would you know as a parent that this toy is too loud for me?
Generally, I think you should be able to know that it's too. There are some toys, the children just turn it on and then the sound is like...
frightening.
Yes. Even the child is startled. That should tell you that this toy is too loud. If you can't do anything about it, then maybe you could just use tape and then cover the parts where the sound is coming out from so that the child is not exposed to that level of noise. You know, children, they like to spend a lot of time with their toys. Right. And even with these tablets and then phones and everything these days, every child has a tablet or a phone. And then they put it on like maximum level. And then they're listening to all these tunes
the
and
rhymes
everything.
And everything else.
If it's too loud, you are eventually exposing your child to develop a hearing loss across their lifespan. Okay, so that is for the children. And then when we get to those who are a bit older, we have children that are gamers. Yes, they put on headphones and they game for like 8 hours, 10 hours continuously with their friends, remotely and everything. If the noise is too loud, you are eventually exposing yourself to develop a hearing loss. So it's advisable that as you are using your headphones, every hour you take a break. You can call it a listening break. You just take off the headphones, walk about a little bit, maybe drink some water, go to the bathroom, anything you want to do, just to rest your hair cells, so that at least they can recover from all the work they've been doing whilst you had your headphones on.
The taxi drivers, trot truck and their horns in town. How does that affect our hearing abilities as well? It
also does in a way. It depends on how loud the honking is.
They always honk for no reason.
Yeah, so they themselves are exposing themselves to a hearing loss. And then also the sirens. Yes, the sirens.
The big people's cars.
Yes, the drivers in the sirens, those in the car, those next to them, they are all being exposed to noise. Because a siren is loud, maybe like 100 and 110 dB. You should be exposed to it like maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 seconds, and then you're out of it. But you have a siren constantly on from maybe we are going from down someone to somewhere, and then the siren is on all the way through. It's wrong.
There was a recent situation at Apiati where there was an explosion. The people in Apiati and surrounding communities, for example, what do they stand to lose in terms of their hearing?
Okay, so if somebody was close to where the explosion occurred, if they didn't die, they could have a hearing loss.
Okay.
Because the blast, that is what we call impulsive noise. It just comes at once, boom, like that. And then your eardrum could be ruptured, your cochlea could be damaged, and all of those things. So if the person was close to the site, not even close, because that was like a really big explosion. So even if you were away from it, you could still have a hearing loss. Yeah.
Is there any food that people can eat to improve their hearing? Or there's no food that's connected to hearing? Why are you laughing at me?
I don't know. Food. Okay, so your ears...
When the eye specialists come here, they say, oh, if you eat this, improve your sight.
Okay.
The guys who take off our throat, they say same thing. Our skin, our hair. So I'm asking you, do you also have food choices?
No, we don't have any type of food that you can eat to have good hearing, but you should take off yourself.
Okay.
Your ears and your nerves and everything that supports your hearing are all parts of your body. Okay. And then your nerves that help you to hear are all supplied, like blood. You know, the blood helps to help your nerves and everything to work well. So if you eat well and then you have good nutrients and everything, then your body is genuinely well, and then your ears are also well. Yes.
I know a lady called Coco. She likes to use feathers and earbuds and stuff like that. And pen top. What risk do they also stand?
Okay, so they risk either perforating their eardrum, yes, or getting
But they
an
say it's
infection.
sweet, oh, when you are.
I don't think it's sweet.
Oh, it's sweet.
I don't
You have
know
not
how it
tried
feels
it
like.
before?
No, it's not something that's how you do. So I
The
won't be able
feather
to tell.
or the pen top or the earbuds.
No.
Yeah.
No.
You have not tried any before?
No, you shouldn't touch your ears. If there's wax in it whilst you talk or you chew your food, the wax comes out by itself. Yes.
Really?
Yes.
We didn't know this. I didn't know
Yes.
this.
Yes, so I'm telling you now.
So if there's wax in your ears, when you chew your food, it will come out or fall off.
It will come out gradually. Once you are talking, you are moving your jaw, you are chewing your food. It just comes out gradually. So if you want to try this, every morning when you take a bath, you can just use tissue or something. Just wipe just the entrance of your ear. There are days you find wax, there are days you don't find anything. Yeah, so the days you find wax, that means the wax has traveled all the way from where it's coming from, and then it's out of your ear, and then you clean it. Yes. So once you are using the earbud, then you are rather pushing the wax
Inside.
further into your ear, and then you pack them up, and then they become impacted. And then that could block your ear, and then you'll not be able to hear well until you have it washed out.
So people who like food, who like to chew, they have a greater chance of cleaning their ears regularly.
Yeah, we could put it that. Exercise your jaw and then
Exercise your jaw. So chewing gum, for example.
Yeah.
I see. Interesting. How are we marking the day? The
Okay,
World Hearing Day.
Okay, so actually we started from yesterday and then the days before. We've had some of my colleagues go to other stations to talk about all these things that we are trying to raise awareness about. Other people are also doing screening in Tamale and other parts of the country.
Right.
Yeah, so the screening involves just using a small device to just test your hearing, not your hearing as such, but then just test your cochlear hair cells to see if you pass the test or not. If you don't pass, then we refer you for a more diagnostic test.
Okay.
Okay, others are also doing free ear care and then other things in other parts of the country.
Yeah. There are those who have a penchant of, say, putting hot water in their ears or warm water. They say, oh, they want to clean their ears and shake it, and then they drop it.
I've never heard that before.
You've not heard, I'm telling you. They do it. They do it.
No, how is it supposed to work?
They do, oh, I don't know. They do it. They shake their head, and then they drop it.
Wow.
Yeah.
I have no idea, seriously. I don't think it works. It's not going to work.
It doesn't work.
No.
Where do people go when they feel they have a hearing problem, or they think that there's a difficulty with their hearing?
Okay, so first of all, you can come to Kolebu. Okay, so the audiology center is a working thing. You can walk in. Okay. Other parts of Kolebu, you need a referral. But when it comes to us, you can just walk in and say, oh, I can't hear well, and then we'll test your hearing and then see if you have any issue, we'll solve it for you.
Right.
Also, I know 37 Hospital also has the center, and then Comfort Notching. Okay. Okay. And then we have other private places like Leicester Hospital, New Star Hospital. New Star Center is at, I think, Jolu and Tema. Okay. Yeah. And then we have Audio Care at Latebio Okoshi, and then Best Care Hearing Services too. Yes. How
well are you patronized at Kolebu, for example? Do people just walk in, or people go to work and you sit down and wait for the other departments to pass you clients?
No, we don't sit down and wait.
Okay, yes, you have people.
We have people coming in.
It's encouraging.
Yes, and these days, I won't say it's encouraging that people will walk in and say, oh, I can't hear, so I'm coming to check what is wrong with me. Right. The other side of the issue is for, let's say, maybe 2 or 3 years now, we have mothers and parents coming in with their children, and the primary complaint is they can't hear. The children cannot talk. The children can't talk, yes. So everybody comes and it's delayed speech. So it means that you need to test the child and then check whether the hearing is fine before, yes. But the issue is we really do not know what is causing it, yes. So we are suspecting maybe the screen time that the children are getting is too much or something. So we advocate for parents to cut down screen time for their children. Okay. Every child you see now has a tablet or something, and they are all like this.
It's the ish.
It doesn't help. Yes.
So you're saying that when you assess the children who have delayed speech, you told me earlier that you refer them to a speech therapist if it's necessary, that you do. But again, you are finding that in most cases, it is the screen time that perhaps is causing it. Because the children are talking to the toys in their minds. So
in a way, because let's say some children are not motivated to speak, if I can put it that way. Okay. So you have children that are like just sitting down with their tablets, just watching. When they're hungry, they will start crying. Mother knows that when my child cries, it means she's hungry. So let me give her food. And then when the child is having this tablet, you take it away from them, they start crying again. And then you give it back to them because you also want to go and do something.
Right.
Yes. So the child knows that, oh, crying solves all my issues. If I cry, I get this. If I cry, I get this. So in a way, they are not really motivated to talk. Aside that, some of the children also have peculiar issues. Okay, some will also have neurological issues like autism and then all of those other things.
Okay.
Yes. So all those things come into play, and then it's a huge issue right now.
Eunice, thank you very much. That's your camera, your closing thoughts. The people of Ghana are watching you. What do you say to them?
Okay, so the message is safe listening. Okay, so make sure that you keep your headphones on, but not for too long. Listen at half volume, and then make sure that you take listening breaks. If you ever feel like you have a hearing loss, you are always welcome to walk into a center and then have your hearing checked.
If you have a lover who likes to whisper into your ears, can it cause...
Not at all. A whisper is like 30 or 40 dB. It's perfectly normal.
But he's whispering for longer hours. Oh.
No, it's still below level, so it's fine.
Below level. Okay. Romantic whispering.
Unless the person wants to shout in your ear.
Okay.
No.
How about swimmers? Sometimes you're swimming and water enters your ear.
Yes, you could have something that we call swimmer's ear.
Okay.
Otitis media, yes. So you have inflammation of the ear canal. Yes, and then if you are not lucky, some of the water could go behind, like in your middle ear space. Yes, so that is how we come in. When we do the test and assess your middle ear, then we can tell that you have your middle ear pressure is not normal.
As in, oh,
and you're with him.
But the middle ear, it's inside your head, right?
Yes. Oh no, it's a connection. You know the connection between your nose and
ear, nose, and throat,
tube. Yes. So if you have a child that has frequent colds,
okay.
Yes, then some of the fluid could just go back and go into the middle ear space, and then that is how you have that issue.
People pee into the pool. If you go and swim in such a pool, can it also affect you?
I believe there's chlorine in the pool. So.
There is. I forgot. Forgive me. Thank you very much, Eunice Apiakoran. She's a clinical audiologist with the Kolebu Teaching Hospital. She gave us a lot of information and knowledge this morning. Use it wisely, and if you have been abusing yourself, you have to know at this point that it's important that you save your ears and you hear right and listen well.
To hear for life, listen with care.